Hello YouTube, today we have a 98 Honda Civic. This is a 4-cylinder engine and we're gonna check for a coolant leak. This car was overheating, it was leaking coolant. When it was hot, you could see the smoke. It was coming from around this area, right where the distributor is. So to check a coolant leak, we are gonna use this pressure tester here. How this works is, we're gonna take one of these caps that will replace the original radiator cap. That will go on, and then we will take this pressure pump here. This is made by Snap-on. There's other companies that make it. So this will go on top of that, and then we will pump pressure into this radiator, which will pressurize all the coolant line up to the back. I want to point out a couple of things. This car looked like it has a white thing around the hoses. It seems like it's leaking everywhere, little. But our main focus is right here, right under this distributor. I can see there's a little bit of coolant there. There is this coolant pipe right here, going straight underneath down there, right under this distributor. And this pipe runs straight to the heater core by the heater core valve. So we're gonna pressure test this. We're gonna remove the radiator cap. Make sure there's no pressure in there. This car been sitting overnight, so there's no coolant. And this car probably has some coolant, but we're gonna pressure it without coolant in it. See if you can hear a hussing noise or any spit out of a coolant. So we're gonna put this adapter, and then the pump goes on top. Make sure you use both hands because you can snap the radiator neck there. So we're gonna put about 18 pounds of pressure. And then we're gonna let it sit there if it holds anything. It is dropping slowly. I guess we're gonna have to put some coolant in there because nothing is showing out. Nothing is spitting out. So we top this off with coolant and we're gonna put more pressure in it. And it's leaking from down here, right under the distributor. And what we're gonna do is, it's hard to see with the camera, but we're gonna replace this heater core pipe right here. And then we're gonna pressure test it again. We're gonna remove this distributor and put that pipe in, and we're gonna order the piece and come right back. So one more time, we're gonna show you where the leak is. It was hard to see from the front, but you can see it from the back. And I'm gonna put the camera right here, and there it goes. It's shooting right out. That's how we check a coolant leak with the pressure tester. And now we're gonna continue, and we're gonna order that piece and come right back. Okay, before you do anything, make sure you get a clean bucket, because the first step is to drain all the antifreeze out of the cooling system. So we're gonna put this bucket, this little container here underneath the car, and we're gonna remove the drainer. Not remove, but loosen the drainer is down there. So you can reach down there, open up the drainer. It's very easy, you don't even have to lift this car. And then you let it sit there for good 15-20 minutes. Let all the antifreeze drain out. Alright guys, so we have the new hose here. This is the hose we're gonna put. It goes from down there to right under this distributor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this, put this to the side. We're gonna remove the clamp there. Clamp goes on this hose underneath, and plus we're gonna remove this pipe right here, and that's gonna give us a little room to get to that hose back there. To do this job, what you're gonna need is number 12 gear wrench, maybe needle noses, different sizes, I got this little silicone here. I'm gonna put this behind that distributor, and then I'm gonna use this blade to cut off the pipe. All right, to begin, we're gonna take off this number 12 right here. We're gonna take off the number 12 in the back, and there's a number 12 down here. So I'm gonna do the hardest one first. That way, once it's loose, I can get it out by hand, which I might not be able to. The reason I say that is because this is gonna hold it in place. To take out this distributor, you see how there's a adjustment thing there? So this washer on the top is gonna give you like a little marking. So when you put this back together, you put it back in the same place. So let me get this bolt out. Alright, so I have that bolt out, that's number 12. Then I'm gonna get the one in the back. I'm gonna do the same thing. This is the number 12 in the back. Alright, so I have that one out. Now I'm going to take out the one on the top. And this distributor is ready to come out once I have this bolt out. The reason I tell you is that to pay attention to those markings, because you can adjust this, the timing of this distributor. So we're gonna put it back in the same spot, all right? When we remove this, we're gonna pay attention to the insert of this distributor on the inside. All right, so you see how this is? We're gonna leave it just that way, because if you mess it up, the timing might be off. You might have to take it off again. But I don't think it might be a one lobe might be bigger than the other one. This one is bigger than the other one, so you can't mess it up. You can't put it wrong. There's no way you can install that wrong. Let me take off this connector too. This connector, this harness here is gonna bother me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just get this out of the way. And then I could just lift this distributor out and put it there. And this is the hose we're gonna change. You can see it's leaking. It's gonna make a mess. We had the radiator drained, but I don't think much came out. But it's all right. I'm gonna take this pipe off anyway. So this thing comes right out, just like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this clamp off and that clamp off. And to get these, I'm gonna use a plier, needle nose. So you take a needle nose, you remove this damn thing. This is a tough guy. Shit, this is a tough guy. Alright, this pipe is swollen, so it might not gonna let that clamp come off. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna use 2 pliers. I'm gonna push that hose off as I squeeze with one. If that comes out. Let me use this is bigger one, so it has more leverage. You know what? Screw this pipe. I'm gonna just cut the pipe off. You have a bucket down there, sorry. It's draining right into the bucket. Some of it is gonna fall out. That's no problem. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna try to squeeze that clamp. Oh my God, this is a stupid pipe and a stupid clamp. Alright. So we have that out. See, this pipe, it was weak. That's what happens when you don't change your pipes on time. This customer had the car. He kept on calling me to come take a look at his car at home. And I told him I can't do that. Even though he lives close to me, I looked at it once. But what can I fix at home? I can't fix much at home. And it's like 30 degrees outside when he was calling me. It was snowing. So in the back here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the pipe, slice the pipe a little bit, because this heater core valve here, this check valve, it's probably old. And I don't wanna break it. Alright, it's okay, let that coolant drip out. Wash the floor. It's raining anyway. So bye-bye to this old weak pipe. See where this was at? This was weak at that spot, it was swollen here. This is where it was leaking from. So now to put the new pipe in, what I like to do is I like to take these clamps. I like to put these clamps on ahead of time so they're ready to just go right in. And the other one fell down here somewhere. It's right here. So I'm gonna get this one on also. So this pipe goes down there on the heater core valve, the check valve. And on this end, the pipe goes on, and make sure you always route it the way it came in. Then you take your clamps, put them in there. Make sure you get the clamps where they belong. You take this one right there. That's where that belongs. Let me get my light to stay there. We're gonna take this one. This is a tough one. It's in an angle where we can't really get a good grip on this clamp. A lot of times what you can do is squeeze it and use a hand to guide the clamp in there. Alright, so that's it. Now what we can do is let me just make sure the drainer is closed. The drainer is down here. Now we can put pressure back in this. Let's put about 18 to 20 pounds, and it shouldn't leak anymore. So there's no leaks. And that's it, it's holding pressure and it's good. We'll put coolant in this system. We'll let the system run, let the car run. Once the car is nice and hot, it should hold the pressure. Alright, so next we're gonna reverse the procedure for this distributor. So you gotta make sure you get the distributor in the correct place. It has to be flush against the engine head. Something's bothering me. I think I got that clamp wrong. Let me move that clamp out of the way. So this clamp is bothering me. Either it can go down or it can go up. I'm gonna push this one down. There you go. So it's flush against the block. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take the 3 bolts we had, I put the 3 bolts in. This marking I told you about, this distributor was sitting at the edge. That's the farthest it can go. So we're gonna put it back at the same markings. So we're going to take the number 12 gear wrench and we're going to tighten those bolts just enough so it holds it in nice and snugged in, hand tight. You can always torque them, all 3 bolts. Make sure you get the bottom one. Sometimes you could leave these 2 loose, this one in the back and the bottom one. That way you can adjust the timing just in case the engine is running rough. And don't forget to put this connector back in. If you don't put this in, the car is not gonna start. You can lock up the connector to where it belongs. And that's it. That's how you check a coolant leak on a Honda Civic. It could be other makes and models. Same way, you pressure test it, see where it's coming from, and repair that leak with the proper tools and the lines. Make sure you always get the good lines. And this customer, I have to let him know he's gonna need the rest of these lines. And if he decides to do that, we'll do that on another date. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put coolant in, let this car run, and it should be perfectly fine.